Day one of the Arctic Circle Trail starts in a car park in the middle of an industrial estate on the edge of Copenhagen. Boys are looking good. And that's where we stayed last night. Rather desolate scene. It's a whole new town.
The first interview.
Alright then. So here we are. About 9:40. Bit grey, bit wet, but that's what we'll be coming back from Sisimiut on. That's the international terminal. That's what we came on. It was pretty much like a transatlantic flight, but well, no, it was pretty much like a transatlantic flight. It was as comfy.
Yeah.
Only cost 800 quid, which Paul pointed out was made all the more palatable by the chocolate we got served with dinner. This is the baggage hall, one conveyor belt. Not many people yet, they've all piled into duty free. Pardon? It's not raining heavily, is it? Just getting ready for the off. Got to just pick up some camping fuel, cooking fuel, and then we're on our way. So although it's about 10 o'clock clock time, it would be 1 o'clock in the afternoon back home. It's raining quite hard now, so it's a change of gear all round. We still haven't left the airport. We might just stay here for 8 days. So we're now waiting to buy fuel for our camping stoves, and we've phoned the man and he's going to come and unlock these 2 petrol pumps. We're surrounded by aircraft fuel, but we can't get any petrol yet, and at one point it looked like we were going to go hungry, but fingers crossed the man should be here soon. That's something I think called Sugarloaf Mountain, and this is all the kind of sprawling out settlement of Kangerlussuaq. A bit scrappy. See, the bush is all yellow. I think it looks like end of season autumnal colours. So we're going to walk about 4 miles along this road down towards the sea lock, which is over there, and then we're going to turn right. yeah, this isn't the most scenic part of the route, I hope. You can see probably just on the horizon a flat line, which is the ice cap, we think. Not very clear. Still spotting it rain. A little bit blowy, and we're on the road that goes down to the harbour, and then I think we turn right. Lovely red and yellow bank here. Little bush here with Christmas decorations on it. Two tourists taking photos. Do you hear the echo?
As an echo, yeah.
First bit of blue sky, it's very welcome. I'd like to see more of that. So, I think this is the last view we get of the ice cap, which is there. It's quite a good view of it. It's already very thick, even though it's right on the edge of the country. Two cruise ships in the bay, well, one and one other. This is called Lake Helen. So this is one for our Helen. Thinking of you, Helen. This is still just day one. Just a bit of glimpse of sunshine. The sea's over there. And then coming up this track on the left, it's a science research station that specialises in the Northern Lights. I'll show you in a minute when we get there. So here's Kellyville, which is probably the last settlement before Sisimiut. It's got a changeable population counter. I don't know whether it goes up or down. This is the group that measures the ionosphere, and they live in nice caravans. Paul thinks it's twinned with Wheathampstead. It's a bit prettier than Wheathampstead. Don't know whether anyone's home. We'll soon find out. Yeah, they've got a very big dish, which I think puts them slightly ahead of Wheathampstead. That's enormous. That's hard to describe. Well, you can see how big it is in relation to those cars there. It's pretty big. Lots of heavy breathing, sorry about that. So this is the beginning of the trail proper. We just left the road and there's a red marker on that rock over there, which is the sign we're going to follow for the next 8 days. It's just spotting with rain. It's now, what time is it? About 4 o'clock?
We just met a few Germans.
10 past 4. Feeling a bit tired now. We'll be glad to be at our first night, which is probably about, it's only about an hour away probably. So we are staying by those lakes there. In fact, bang in the middle there was what looks a little bit like a kind of island, and just above that you might see the roof of a hut. It's really a caravan, and it's now 5 o'clock, but because we flew through a 4-hour time difference, it's really 9 o'clock for us, 9 PM, and we got up at 5 AM, so this has been a very long day and we're all a bit tired now. I'm looking forward to sitting down and having a brew. So I'll show you the caravan when we get closer. What date is it today?
Oh, it is the 5th of...
No, it's the 6th. Is it the 6th? No, hang on, it's the 5th.
Yeah.
Is it the Swiss?
Oh, actually, no, it's the guys from Colorado, Denver.
Oh, right. Did they leave?
So they must have left, they must have been here yesterday then.
Right. Yes, and left this morning.
Yeah, yeah. So, from the middle of August, there's Jonathan Wymont and Richard Tilley from England. A couple of French guys.
Bit of a hole in the ceiling there. It's dripping.
Bill Morrison from Maidstone.
Let's have a look at the view. Oh, I'm under the drip.
There are quite a few people from England in the last few weeks.
I'll show you where Paul's in an absolutely brand new kitchen. Making tea.
Have you got your lighter to hand?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just switch this on. Here's home for tonight. It's a sort of combination of run-down sheds with a caravan, but there is a barbecue area, and it's in a bit of a state inside, but it's dry and it's not going to be very nice to camp out tonight. There's some slightly disturbing evidence of dead animals everywhere. This looks a reindeer, I guess. But it's a smashing view. It's brightening up to the west. It's now it's 20 past 5. Oh, apparently we've got an outdoor eating area. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, look at that. It's home from home.
Oh, it's brightening up. It is. I'm going to get my camera out. Fantastic. There you go.
It's breakfast time. Just got the stove on for our first breakfast. It's day 2. I think it's Friday. Got a little bit of worry about the fuel we've been given. It's not the most inflammable food, but so we're having trouble starting the stove. Once it's going, it's great, but getting it started is hard. So I hope that improves. It's a much calmer day today. A lot of wind in the night, and I mean, we slept well, but the whole hut was completely shaking and creaking, as you can probably tell from its appearance. It's prone to. I think that fish weather vane on top was rattling around. So, although it's a really grotty hut and inside it's pretty grubby and horrible, I have to say I appreciated the shelter. So this is how you make your breakfast. You you boil some water, in Paul's case several litres, and you put it in these pouches. It's a skilled job. It looks pretty straightforward the way Paul's doing it, but it's a lot of measuring, careful pouring, slushing, and in Paul's case, well, that's what it looks like when it's. Look at that. I wish it could be breakfast every day. So John, do you remember that conversation we were having in the Lake District this summer? We were saying, what will the young kids make of Nelson Mandela? They probably don't know he was an anti-apartheid leader of the struggle. They probably think he's a brand of sportswear. Well, imagine how thrilled we were to discover that you found some Mandela, what's it called? Snood. No, just going to
2014 fashion.
But look how. No, wait a minute. Let's just see if I can. I don't know whether.
Yeah. No, that looks good.
Fantastic.
Looks good.
I'll show you a bit of the view here, John, as well. You see that? Isn't that nice? So, wish you were here. Thank you very much for the present.
Indeed. Yeah.
And it's proving extremely useful. It's day 2 at the moment, so early days. We might look a bit less cheerful in a few days' time. We just heard a noise. A kind of motorised noise, so we might be joined by a skidoo. Okay, over and out, bye! So just setting out on day 2. There's our delightful caravan. Very welcome though, very good shelter last night. It's a bit of a chilly breeze, but it's dry and it's bright. So we'll take that, and we're heading over in that direction there. With that rise there. So that's the direction we're heading in, towards a lake where we need to fill up with fresh water, because this lake and the one that we were staying by last night is brackish. So I don't know really whether that means salty or just peaty, I'm not sure. We've only been going an hour. We're all saying that actually it's well time for a rest. Pack's not feeling any lighter yet. So that's looking back to the caravan, which we think is on that little mound in front of that lake there. So I'm on maximum zoom here. So then you'll see this is where we've walked. There's the path. It's quite visible. But in case of we've got these cairns every 300-400 metres, something like that, with this red splodge on. So it's now about, is it about 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
After 12 minutes, I'm having coffee. So we had a brew and lunch where where the dip is, and this has just been the last, whatever, 45 minutes, do you reckon? An hour. And we're heading towards brighter weather. In fact, it looks lovely over there. I don't know why it doesn't come over here. The landscape is full of these odd rocks, like erratics or whatever, and for some reason they always look more prominent on the horizon. I think one of those mountains is called Pingu, isn't it?
Pingu.
Yeah. I think maybe the one,
that somewhere.
the one on the right.
The girls.
So Paul has somehow got to the other side of this boggy little creek, and we're going to try and copy him. I just focus on Geraint's boots to show you the technique. Prod the water with a stick. Very dainty. Yep. He's gone for full immersion. It's a lovely spot. This is marked on the map as a campground. It's a little kind of isthmus, I think you call it, between two lakes, and bright weather still no closer. There's a weird big boulder here that is on 3 tiny stones. Looks like a sort of beetle or a cartoon car, and we're assuming it's not been put there by man. It's probably an erratic, which is so far the buzzword of the trip. First sun of the trip at last. Get you a better view in a minute, but it's lovely and the wind's dropped. It's now really quite warm. The sun just makes all the difference. So it's about, is it 3:30, did we say? 4:45? And it looks like we're heading up there, I think. And the hut's just down the other side. There's the hut. That's tonight's hut, night 2. We got a bit lost, not seriously, but we lost the track, so we're having to climb down over this rough ground, which is a shame, but there we are. It's the kind of terrain where you can do it. It's now about 5:15, so I'm looking forward to dinner. So it's no bigger than a garden shed, and we don't yet know whether we're sharing it with anyone. There's only 3 berths in this one, I think, and 3 on the floor, but it's a good campground all around here, so we'll be fine, whatever happens. Moment of truth. Hey! Oh, fantastic! Oh, much tidier than last night's, which was a bit of a dump. This is lovely. Candle. Alright, you probably have seen enough. You like it? It's nice.
Around the back.
Amazing cloud formations.
Just storage stuff.
Oh, just down the side there?
Yeah.
It's just a little rubbish menu, I think.
Oh, okay.
Maybe some paraffin cans.
That's a canoe rack, and the fact that there are no canoes on it means that even if we wanted to canoe down this lake tomorrow, we couldn't. So we're going to be walking down that bank there for the whole day. Geraint was fed up with his girls nicking his mobile phone, so he went for the most uncool one in the world. This is the satellite phone, and
Registered. Right, we got action.
Geraint
Press menu, and scroll down to messages. Phone book. God, can't see this. Call related features.
tell you what, this might get boring, so I'll turn this off.
Yeah. Space.
Day 3, 7 in the morning. First time. Lovely golden hills. Hut was very toasty last night. Just what we wanted. Breakfast just starting by the front door. Just getting ready to go. It's I think it's Saturday the 7th, day 3. So you can just make out the hut there, shaky camera, where we set out this morning. And we're going to spend the whole day walking along this enormous long lake. So the whole day spent on this left bank, and we end up somewhere around the corner where you can it's a canoe centre, rather grandly called. Just seeing if I can make it out. No, it's probably around the corner. Climbing quite high above the lake. It's beautiful, clear water. In fact, all our drinking water from now on you just get straight from the lake. We were drinking earlier from cups directly. That's where we've come from. Beautifully peaceful, in fact, absolutely silent. This is tea stop for lunch. It's about 1 o'clock on day 3, and the map shows this is a site of special interest. It's true, it's got a fantastic view, but we haven't yet found the special interest. Might be that erratic, but then they're 10 a penny around here, so. Yeah, ready when you are. All bare rock on the mountains now. It's a big slab over there, and it's now about 2:30. Slow going today, even though you wouldn't think it should be. We're all feeling a bit tired. Thought we'd feel fitter. Oh well. And suddenly, out of the blue, comes a cairn so big I can't even get the top of it in. I'm going to have to pan out. It must be what, 10 feet?
Yeah.
And underneath this very big base rock are lots of small rocks seemingly propping it up. There's something weird going on around here. We're heading just around that corner. I say just. It's about another 3.5 hours. Here we are at the end of day 3. This is the grandly named Canoe Centre, and that's because as well as this lake that we've walked along all day, there is another big lake behind me, which over the mountain, which has lots of canoeing campgrounds in it. Another spectacular scene. I think above the hut the mountains have got a scattering of snow, if I'm not mistaken. Well, the contrast between this magnificent canoe centre and our first night in the Grotty caravan could not be greater. Let me just show you what we've got inside. This is 5-star. So we have dormitory number 1. This can sleep 2, 4, 6, 8 people, with a view out to a hill with snow on it still, so that's probably not melted all season. And then here we have the main sitting room, dining table, bunk bed. Look at this kitchen. Look, oh, bunk beds everywhere, you can sleep. Hundreds in here. We have a Kazi. In fact, we might have 2 Kazis. 2 Kazis. What does it say? To use the toilets, please put the black plastic bag in the toilet first. You can find more bags in the workshop next to the entrance. Don't forget to remove the bag and to place it in the container outside when you leave. Looking forward to that. And then another smaller dormitory with 6 beds, so magnificent. And then the view from the window. Beautiful. So here's quite a good map of the Arctic Circle Trail, and we're at the Canoe Centre. Just that started here, so we're about 1/3 of the way along, and we've got quite a long day tomorrow, and then the day after tomorrow we've got to do 2 stages in order to catch up time. That's going to be quite a challenge. So we've got some guests or cohabitees this evening. These guys have canoed from the near end of the lake, not the far end that we walked, but that's still probably about 3 or 4 miles. So doing very well. These are only the second pair of people we've seen in 3 whole days. And I'll turn off the camera now in case it looks rude. It's 7:30 in the morning on day 4. It's a really still morning. It's quite mild, and it looks like it might brighten up and be another good day. Incredibly still lake. You get a sense of how still it is today. That's just like glass, that lake. You can see the detail of the clouds in the water. That's the view of where we come from. We've been going for about 3/4 of an hour, and you should just be able to see the canoe centre, the red building to the right. It's so calm, you can see 2 birds, 2 divers, really clearly. So that's where we've come from. It's 12:10. We're making pretty good progress. We might make this a 2-stopper, where we walk to one hut but then carry on to the next hut. We've got to do that at some stage to make up time, and because the weather's fair, we thought, well, we'll see how it goes, no promises. We think we end up at the end of, well, no, not at the end of the day, but the next hut is at the top of that plateau over there. Every 2 hours or so we stop to fill it with water, so we're not ever carrying more than 1 litre or 2, because the water in these lakes is just crystal clear and actually tastes really good. It's still very still, but it's clouding over behind us, so let's just hope it stays dry. It's a lovely beach with the mountain in the background covered by a cloud called Pingu. Still very calm. We've just come up a stinker of a hill, about 300 metres maybe, a bit more, and it's very steep and unrelenting, but we do get rewarded with a very good view. That's a new lake, that one, that very long one, haven't seen that before. It's Pingu again, looking pretty featureless. And we're heading over in that direction. That's where we came from. You might just be able to see a little snowfield high and right. That's above the canoe lake, just where we stayed last night. It's our second encounter with the reindeer at fairly close quarters. Funnily enough, they come towards us. You'd expect the opposite. And then that gives me the chance to show you the hut, which is somewhere there. Where is that? There. Okay. Here we are, just arriving. This is maybe the end of day 4, but we need to decide whether to carry on. We certainly need a good long rest. We're out of water, so it's a good job there's a lake there. So we've decided we're going to stay here for the night. We were going to press on, but that would have taken us to at least 9 o'clock when it is starting to get really dark, and there are 2 sections of tomorrow's walk which are kind of badly marked, and you just need to use visual cues, and we weren't confident we were going to be able to make it. Also, you can't really tell, but it's freezing cold now. Always around about this time of night the wind gets up, and it's probably, it feels like about -5. So we weren't confident we were going to be able to make it, so that does put a bit of the pressure on. Tomorrow we're going to set the alarm very early, 5 o'clock, and try and set off at 6 and make a long day of it. So it's 6:45 in the morning on Monday. This is day 5. So we are over halfway through. Go around doing some housework. It's another fabulous little hut, very cosy, very welcome last night. We were going to press on, but instead we've got up early this morning. The cloud's very low, but there are little clues that there might be some blue sky above these low clouds, so improve. Little hut about to be covered by cloud. That's a mountain hare. It's quite cute. And there's another one somewhere there. And there's another one there. You see snow on the mountains at about the same height as we are now. I don't know why we've been spared it. And then down there on the flat valley bottom floor is where we ford the biggest river of the trail. It's now about 8 o'clock, I'm guessing, so making good early start. So we've got to cross this enormous expanse of marshland, which has a certain notoriety in the visitor logs in the huts and in the book we're using. So kind of glad we're doing it at the beginning of the day, not the end. And you can just glimpse the sea over there. That's a sea lock. Here's the river that we have to cross. It doesn't look too bad. Apparently it's about knee deep. We'll soon find out. So it's boots off and waders on. There you go. Nigel being brave, being the first.
Cold.
Job done.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Probably goes hurting.
Goes with that.
It's cold.
There's a spectacular wall of rock there. You can see the hut where we just stopped for a short rest. That's where we had thought briefly that we might head to last night, but now that we know what this morning involved, we're very glad we didn't. It's an amazing waterfall, like dry waterfall sort of bowl up there.
Yeah.
So really good vantage point above this lake, and you could be forgiven for thinking we're in Scotland, including the colour of the hills and the shape of the hills.
There's definitely something along here. Not well before, but there's definitely something.
Could be a deer trail.
Well, I don't know. Well, that's not, yeah.
It's now about 7 in the evening. Beautiful light. Walking for 12 hours. Yes. Here we are. Light's fading, so I'm very glad we're here. Beautiful spot. Quite low snow on those hills. Not sure whether this will come out on film, but the water's a gorgeous pinky orange colour because of the night sky. I just missed the dramatic moment, so I was fumbling for the camera. But it's just also a chance to show you where we stayed last night. It's really like a boathouse overlooking the lake. It's actually right above the shore of the lake. We've got a wet day today, so we're using all our waterproof gear, over trousers, gaiters, cagoule. This is day 6, 10 miles today. So this is day 6. It's another small hut. It's our walking buddies from Colorado, who we shared with last night. And I reckon this is about the size of a garage. Do you reckon? Paraffin heater would be nice, but there's no fuel. But it's dry. That's the important thing. So here we are on day 7, last but one day. It's you can't really see, but it's sleeting, and it was snowing earlier. You can see how low the snow's come on the mountain. It's only about 100 metres, 200 metres above us. It's a lot blowier today as well, so we're completely tugged up. And yeah, spirits are okay, bordering on high. Two of our 3 Danish hunter friends, and they've just been fishing up the lake for trout. Some of our dinner.
That's the majority of the population. No.
Okay, here's dinner from the wild. That's ptarmigan or grass. These guys, freshly shot.
That's the breast meat. Yeah, that's breast meat I took up because they are so small, so it's standing out in this cold, very cold bird. You can't cook it in a small pan or that. We could take on the legs as well.
It's the last day, day 8. Snow all around, quite low, in fact right down to sea level really. So it's going to be quite an interesting walk. This is a sea lock. We've got about 20 kilometres, 13.5 miles.
Where did the boat drop you off?
Oh.
Here's where we stayed last night with the 3 Danish hunters who
Far point, but
fed us handsomely with trout they caught, especially for us.
yeah, it's longer than it looks. Yeah.
So here we are still at low altitude. We're probably only about 100 metres above sea level, and the path is quite obscured. In fact, we lost it back there, and we have to go up to 500 metres where you'll see the snow is quite thick, so it looks like it's going to be a GPS day. I'm really glad this is our last day, because if all else fails we can just take a bearing and keep heading west, and then we'll eventually get to Sisimiut. That's the sea lock where we stayed last night. thick snow now. These thick snow flakes, it's not completely settling, but the cloud is down to sea level, so we're relying on cairns at the moment to pick our way across.